who doesn't love gerberas? They're one of my favourite cut flowers, but I'm going to share with you how a gerbera likes to be taken care of, okay? Now, you've always bought your gerberas in a plastic sleeve, and the reason why you buy them in a plastic sleeve is because it stops them from being broken. So when it comes to handling them in and out of the farm, and then from the farm to the to the markets, and from the markets to the florist, they're wrapped in order to keep them protected. But it's a big no-no to then place your bunch of flowers with the cellophane around it in the vase. And I'm going to tell you why it's a big no-no. Because like humans sweat, guess what? Flowers wrapped in cellophane also sweat. So it's a big no-no to keep your flowers protected with the cellophane, okay? So what do we do when we get home? We then cut through the cellophane like that. Voila, now that's off. That goes to the bin. And I'm going to share other floral gossips with you when it comes to the gerbera. I can't wait. But tip number 1 is, did you ever wonder what is a fresh gerbera than the one that's aging? And there's one tip that really stares you in the eye, and I'm going to demonstrate that, okay? So out of the bunch, I'm going to choose 2. An aging one. That looks good. And a fresh one. And I'm going to put my bunch aside, and I'm going to now introduce you to Miranda Kerr and Raquel Welsh. Now they both look fabulous, and you can still look fabulous at 50 or 60 or 70 as long as you look after yourself. And the same thing with flowers. So I am going to tell you, now look at the face of the gerbera, can you see that? Now the one with the bigger eye is the younger one. The bigger the eye, the more youthful it is, and the smaller the eye is how much older your gerbera is. So when you're purchasing gerbera in the future, you need to stare it right in the face and then identify whether it's an aging gerbera bunch or a youthful gerbera bunch. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, how many times have you seen a florist spray the face, not just of a gerbera, but of all the cut flowers? Well, I'll get to that later in my tips about other flowers, but we're going to talk about the gerbera today. It is a big no-no to spray your gerbera on the face. By doing that, you are then encouraging freckles to develop on the face of a gerbera. And we don't want that to happen, do we? No freckles, because when there is freckles on the face of the gerbera then starts the aging process and it's damaged. So any sign of aging, any sign of damage, it needs to be groomed. And how do you groom a gerbera? Well, if the damage is on the petal, you just remove the damaged petal like that, and that's how you groom a gerbera. So always keep an eye out for aging, okay? Because when it ages, it's releasing a gas called ethylene. Now, for me to be funny with you today, I'm going to call it farting. So any sign of aging, damage, it needs to be removed, because if you don't, that damage is then releasing an odourless gas called ethylene into the flower and the neighbouring flowers. So think of it as gas. So if someone, human, sitting next to you releases gas, you've got the opportunity to walk away and get away from that smell. Unfortunately, flowers don't have legs, so they're going to be infected with the gas, ethylene. So in order to accelerate vase life, you need to be grooming your cut flowers. And my last tip for the gerbera, yes you darling, I'm going to show you the difference in water with my vases, okay? This has a lot of water. This has shallow water. And with gerberas, they don't like a lot of water in the vase. They like to soak their feet in water, a bit like this little one here. And the reason why is because when you put a lot of water in the vase where the stem sits, it then starts taking away the strength from the stem, and that's how then the aging process again starts. And I believe that prevention is better than cure. And please, no tap water in the vase. You need to use filtered water or water that you've got in the kettle, which has been boiled the day or the night before. That is the water that you use for gerberas, because when it comes to tap water, gerberas hate it with a passion. And that is the reason why florists wire their gerberas, because in contact with tap water, the gerbera then starts to become sad and bend down or bend over. So remember those tips, and I hope you've enjoyed them.